The reason I said Agile Made Simple, a small business guide, is I was specific to try to talk to the small mom and pop, the small, you have a restaurant, a coffee shop, something. There are ways you can be agile. Really, how are you open to let your mindset shift from being rigid? Oh, this is the way we've always done it. Now, this is how when teams, there's a lot of resistance to change, by the way, because agility is about change. And so you find when I years ago when the teams who came to teach us how to be agile came in, there was a lot of resistance because you find people who are used to their ways um asking questions like why are we doing this? What is and those are important questions to answer from you as a business owner to your teams because there'll be questions. The way I go about that is share your reason why. Show them the numbers, show them the data that shows that we can't really just continue to do the things the way we're doing. We have to change. Things are moving too fast. There's a lot going out there in the market we need to keep up with. By the time the person who's doing that work realizes their impact on the business and extensively the customer, they would see why there's a need to pivot and have a mindset of agility and such. That's
Totally
the way I
agree with
would.
that. And I don't know, like when it comes to change, so many people are so afraid of it because it's the unknown for them. And I think that I think I've heard a few other business experts out there and coaches go, well, okay, this is what you do. You lay it all out. Here's here's all the facts, here's all the numbers, here's all the backup information that would support all these. You make the decision. What do you think? Because if
Correct.
we continue on this path, then in 4 or 5 months, we're all out of a job. But if we
Correct.
change a little bit, we could potentially achieve this. What do you want to do? So you kind of give the power back to the employees and the teams and all that kind of stuff to find out what they want. And sure enough, there's some people out there who are not able to accept that either. And they may end up leaving the company or finding something else. And that may be the way to move forward. Like for companies and small businesses to grow and become successful, they need to be able to change, let people go, bring in new blood, and kind of scale from that perspective. You
Agreed.
mentioned teams a lot, like the importance of having good people around you, sharing ideas, being collaborative. So here's the question about putting your teams together. One, you may want a group of people who have similar mindsets and kind of work together. That's efficient. But then they may not be as innovative because they're not as diverse. But then if you have a diverse group, they may not have the same mindset and it's not as efficient. So, what's the best way to find a good team that balances both?
Yes, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, eh, if I had that solution, I'd probably be selling be a millionaire oh, many times over. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You mentioned some key points. You real obviously don't want a team where there's groupthink, where everyone is too yeah, we all agree to this. So we all work in the same way. We all we know what the goal is. We're moving in the same direction. You probably or you do better with a more diverse team. However, that's where the critical piece is you have to have shared interest, right? Shared maybe you don't have personal interest and it really doesn't I don't want to use, I want to be careful not to use the word matter in the larger scheme of things, but your business, right? So let's think about what the goal of this entity is. What are we trying to achieve? Okay. So this is how we're achieving it. So I'd say in that scenario, it's on whoever the leader is, the person in charge, it's on you to communicate the reason why you want diversity on the you got diversity brings in better results in my opinion and what I've seen having people agree as a matter of fact you want some people to disagree with some of the things we're saying sometimes because maybe it's just they have good information that it's not right. But if you say you're disagreeing, where's your data, right? Data is always king. So I'll always encourage teams to work with in a diverse group, but what's important, what's guiding this team is an aligned vision, an aligned goal. Some so that it has to be communicated daily in many ways. You find actually when we're co-located, you use something called a Kanban board, which I have behind me here. But under it, you have a working agreement, something we call a working agreement. So you're saying to this team of 5 people or however many, seven, that listen, we agree we're gonna meet daily at this time. We agree we're gonna do XYZ. We agree we're gonna do this. Everybody, if you don't agree, raise your hand. So that way you're doing a pulse check.